Okay, you have my attention. I'm scared you guys are gonna get mad at me. Hello guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Laura and today is BOOKMAS Day 2. In this video, we are going to be using my trusty TBR jar to pick my TBR for the month of December. So guys, as usual, grab yourself a drink, get comfy and let's get into today's video. I'm just going to sit and enjoy my coffee for a moment and then we will get into the book haul of all the books that I have acquired between the last TBR jar video and now. So as usual, we do have quite a nice stack of books to go through, so let's get into it. So first up we have this arc for The Lies That Summon the Night by Sonia Odette. This comes out in February 2026, so very soon. And this is adult fantasy. I have a feeling it's like dark fantasy. I helped do the cover reveal and the cover is so stunning. It's like dark purple, very similar vibes to this, but it has like a wolf on the front. There's like blood. It's very much my vibe. On the back, it says, "He hunts sins, she is a sinner. Temptation could destroy them both." Yeah. And then obviously on the front it says, "The darkest sins taste the sweetest." I've just had a quick scan of what it's about. I'm getting the vibe of like vampires, or at least vampire style creatures. And also there's like a hunter hunted vibe going on. So very, very excited to read this one. Next up, another one I'm super excited for is Your Knife, My Heart by Kea Moronova. And this is a highly anticipated read for me because I read Leave Me Behind and absolutely devoured it. So I expect big things from this one. It says on the front, "The dark forces will eat you up, pretty girl." And the dark forces are in Leave Me Behind. So I am wondering if this is maybe like an interconnected standalone or is in the same world at least, or if it is just another dark military romance. Either way, I'm super, super excited to read this and I have very high hopes for this one. Next up, I have a paperback copy here of Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley, a highly anticipated read of mine. So many of my gorgeous friends have read this and rated it 5 stars. So for me, this is also a predictive 5-star read. From what I know, this is fae fantasy and I believe we have a super badass FMC. Okay, next I have this gorgeous edition of Phantasma. I was lucky enough to receive this at an event with Kaylee Smith. I unfortunately had to run to get my train, so I didn't manage to get it signed, but it did come with a few little goodies. It came with a gorgeous print, and this is one of my favorite artworks ever. I love this art of Ophelia and Blackwell? Oh my gosh, I forgot his name for a second then. Ophelia and Blackwell. I just think it's absolutely stunning and gothic and gorgeous. I want to frame this for sure. And then we have a little letter from Kaylee here and also a bookmark. So these are the end pages and the naked hardcover. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. I have read and loved Phantasma and Enchantra, but I think Phantasma, if I had to pick out of the two, I think I rated them the same on Goodreads, but I think Phantasma is probably my favourite of the two still. But from what Kaylee was saying at the event, book 3 has the potential to be the best one yet. Okay, next I have my fairy loots for the month of November. So starting off with the Romantasy, which is To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. The edges, the back. This book is still on my TBR and very, very high on my TBR. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I'm very excited to read this. And this is a dystopian romantasy. The naked hardcover. And then we have Seven Deadly Thorns by Amber Hamilton. I think this is the adult, but I'm not entirely sure. This could be the YA. The next two are either the YA or the adult and vice versa. And this is the dust jacket. Edges. The naked hardcover, which is very, very cool. The end pages. And the end pages are by one of my absolute favourite artists, Aileen, and her handle is Payleen Line Art, I think, on Instagram, and she's one of my absolute favourite artists for bookish character art. Okay, and then we have Fallen City by Adrian Young. I think this is absolutely stunning. The dark colours, the sort of celestial Greek vibes are really, really doing it for me. And the naked hardcover. And then the end pages. Yeah, so I'm definitely getting like Roman Empire, Greek, historical fantasy vibes from this. And then of course like celestial vibes as well, because there's like planets and stars and the sun. So I'm very intrigued by this. I haven't heard of this book before, but of course we will add it to the TBR because Fairy Loot tends to pick good books. Okay, and then next I have this gorgeous edition of The Wolf King by Lauren Palfreman, and this is the broken binding edition. And of course I was just really drawn to the purple, the edge with Blake and Callum in their wolf forms, the moon in the middle, if you know you know. Oh yeah, I just think this is gorgeous. This is the naked hardcover. And then the end pages are just like a plain sort of patterned. And this is also signed, which is super exciting. And if you didn't already know, I love this series so much. And I am so incredibly excited for the third and final book in the trilogy to come out, but I have no idea when it is due to come out. Hopefully not too long. I also picked up the Waterstones exclusive edition of To Bleed a Crystal Bloom by Sarah A. Parker. You guys know this series is in my absolute god tier. I adore Sarah A. Parker. I love this series so much. And so of course I had to pick up the Waterstones special edition, mainly for the fact that it has this gorgeous art on the end pages. I love them so much. Okay, and then last but not least, I'm so excited to open this. I haven't even had a peek yet, but this is my early copy of Crown Tide by Alex Astor, and I'm so excited to take a peek at what is in here. They always have the most stunning boxes with the most incredible art in it, and I really love how Alex has used the same artist throughout this. Okay, so we have some tabs. What I'm guessing is a little bookmark. We have some promotional art. The key to Isla's return and the fate of the realms lies close to her heart. I'm actually a little bit scared for what is to come in this book. This is the fourth book, and I believe there is one more book to come to conclude the series. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, a timer? That is so cool. Apparently it is a 3-minute timer. That is so cool. I love that. Okay, and then the main event. We have Crown Tide in our possession. I love the cover for this one. I think all of the covers for the Light Lark Saga have been very cool. Oh, we have some overlays. Let's get the dust jacket off. Let's see. Oh, there's two. Okay. Oh. Oh, oh, so it is the same as the character art on here, but the reason why I'm saying oh is because it's split and Oro and Isla are on the same page and Grimm is on his own. I really hope that's not significant. I really hope that's not significant. I'm a Grimm girly, in case that wasn't already painfully obvious. So that brings us to the end of our book haul, and it is now time to go and pick my TBR for December. As usual, my little pals have come to join me, and also the sun has decided to make an appearance. I don't expect it will stick around for long. So let's get into picking my TBR for December. We are starting to look very, very sparse in my TBR jar, and I am pretty excited to tell you that this will in fact be the last time we will be picking from these prompts in this jar, because we are going to be doing a full TBR jar reset for the new year, where I will fill it with entirely new prompts, a lot of which have been picked by you guys. If you did miss my Instagram story where I was asking for prompts to put in my TBR jar, please do feel free to leave any that you like in the comments, and I will try to include as many of those as I can in my new TBR jar when we do that together very soon. So I think we are going to go for a TBR of 6 for December. The only one I have that is a non-negotiable is my Fable Book Club's book for December, which is Brimstone by Callie Hart. So that is the first one going on the list for December, and we're going to sit now and pick another 5 together. Let's pick our first prompt. Okay, we have a YA book. I don't read loads of YA, but I have read one recently that I absolutely adored, which you will hear about very soon in my reading wrap up. So I'm very much open and excited to picking up another YA. Let's see what we've got on the shelf. Okay, so I have 3 very solid options here, but I do also want to add a 4th in that I do not currently have a physical copy of, and that is Immortal Dark by Tigger Skirmer, which I am 90% sure is YA, because I'm sure that is the section I normally see it in, and it is a dark academia vampire book. And that speaks to me. I also think I did put it on my 10 before the end, so that one is a very solid contender. But let's get into these ones that I also picked out. So first here I have Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha J. Tooley, and I know I am so late to the party with this one, because I feel like everybody and their mum has read this apart from me, and that needs to be rectified. As far as I'm aware, there is trials in this, hence the name, and I think this is fae fantasy, but I'm not entirely sure. I also picked out Soul of Shadows by Emma Noyes, and this, I believe, is also vampires. I'm a nightmare, darling. We create fear. Feed on it. Let it fuel our strength. Even now, that pounding in your chest, the rush of blood, the shallow breaths in your lungs, I feel it all, and let me tell you, it's delicious. Okay, you have my attention. And then lastly, I picked up The Glittering Edge by Alyssa Villar, and this has been on my TBR for a very long time. And the end pages in this are done by Frostbite Studios, who again is one of my absolute favourite artists when it comes to character art for book characters, and I just think her art is so stunning, and I have heard really good things about this. I believe it's a love triangle, and it's small town witches, covens, and again, that speaks to me. Also, back to inviting you guys to add to my TBR jar. Please feel free to add any prompts you've already seen me pick in any of my previous videos, because I am never opposed to having the same prompt more than once. So for example, if you think I should put another prompt in that says pick a YA book, like by all means suggest that. But anyway, back to the prompt that we're currently trying to pick for. I am most leaning towards The Glittering Edge and Immortal Dark. If I look at these 2 books and analyse which has been on my TBR the longest, it would be Immortal Dark. I've wanted to read this ever since it first came out, and that is criminal. And I honestly feel like I'm outside of a club that I really want to be in, because I feel like so many people that I know have read this and absolutely loved it, and I feel like I'm gonna love it. So with that being said, let's put Immortal Dark on the TBR for December. Okay, let's pick another prompt. A book you've been recommended. Well, that could be many books, because I get recommended books very often. So let's have a think. Okay, so I picked out what I think are 3 very solid options here, starting with Beautiful Fiend by Lola King. This came highly, highly recommended to me by Larry months ago, and I mean literally at the start of the year she told me that I should read this and that I would love this. Obviously this is book 1, and I believe they're interconnected standalones. This is dark mafia romance. I've had you guys comment on my videos telling me that I need to read this, so this one is a very solid contender. Also, I have picked up Once Upon a Broken Heart by Kaya Morinova. When I bought this and I shared it in one of my hauls, you guys told me I would love this. So this comes highly recommended by you guys. And also I know that I really like K.M. Morinova's writing, so I feel like I will really like this. Okay, and lastly, don't get too excited, guys, but I have in fact pulled Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I know it is absolutely criminal that I have not read this yet, but please, please, I have been busy and I do plan to rectify that in the immediate future. I was planning on putting this on my immediate TBR for 2026. However, when I was spinning this shelf around then, it caught my eye and it comes highly recommended to me by Emmy. And also I have been bullied by Sophia Tuxford about the fact I have not read this yet. And so I feel like out of all three that I've picked, this one has come the most highly recommended to me. I think we are going to be adding Spark of the Everflame to our TBR for December, and I just know some of you at home are screaming right now. Okay, prompt 3. Book out of your usual genre. Oh, this is an exciting one. So I know there is one on my shelf that is out of my usual genre, but I am kind of saving that for a particular occasion. A reading vlog. So I'm not going to pull it off the shelf. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to go for a thriller, which is not a genre. I don't know if I've ever read a thriller. I feel like I've read books that have thriller aspects in them, but when I think thriller, I immediately think Frida McFadden because I see her books everywhere, but I am yet to read a single one of her books. So I think we will maybe have a look and see what her most popular books are and what her highest rated books are. Okay, so according to Goodreads, Frida McFadden's most read book is The Housemaid. It has 2.9 million ratings. After that is The Housemaid's Secret. Oh, so that's 2 books. I wonder if you have to read them both. Another one that has loads of reviews is Never Lie, and I recognize the cover for that one as well. There's also The Inmate, The Teacher, The Boyfriend. Oh, there's also The Housemaid is Watching 3. Why is there 3 books? The first book functions as a standalone thriller, while the subsequent books continue Millie's story. So we can read it as a standalone. I think just because that is her highest rated and reviewed one, that is the best chance of it being like the best one for me to read and what would potentially be the most enjoyable and the best introduction to the genre, perhaps. That's my logic anyway. So we're going to add The Housemaid by Frida McFadden to the list for December. I honestly didn't imagine I'd be reading a thriller in December, but here we are. And that is why doing a TBR jar is so much fun. You just never know what books you're going to be picking. And we have 5 pieces of paper left in here. We have followers to choose. So I'm going to grab 2 books off my TBR and I will pop a story on and I will literally give it 5 minutes, and whichever is winning the poll is going on the TBR. Let's have a look and see what we fancy picking. Okay, so I picked out To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast, the one we just got the fairy loot for, and I also picked out Once Upon a Demon's Heart again. So I'm going to quickly take a picture of these, pop them on my story, and see what you guys have to say. I'm just going to put help me pick. I'm going to use a bird emoji and like a broken heart emoji. Okay, we're going to give that a minute, and while we wait, we're going to drink our coffee. Oh, okay, it is 50-50 right now. Oh, okay, things are getting interesting. It looks like Once Upon a Demon's Heart has shot up super fast. And I mean, this story has literally been on for 2 minutes. And I said I was going to leave at 5. But I think that could be my indicator that Once Upon a Demon's Heart is likely going to win anyway. Yeah, every time I refresh it, both of them are moving slightly, but Once Upon a Demon's Heart is kind of creeping up a little bit higher. So you guys have spoken and you guys have chosen Once Upon a Demon's Heart by K.M. Morinova. Thank you. Very excited to read this. Okay guys, it is time to pick our last prompt, and also our last time picking a prompt from these prompts in this jar, which actually is a little bit sad. It feels so weird mixing these when there's literally only a couple in here. Okay, so our last prompt is ARC or PR. I know exactly what book I want to pick for this, and I'm scared you guys are going to get mad at me because I have picked this book before for a very similar prompt, and when we picked it, I was incredibly excited that we picked it, and I didn't read it. I didn't read it, but I picked it in a month where I had so many big books to read, and I really, really want to take my time and enjoy this because I know it is going to be so good. It has literally just come out at the very end of November. I'm just gonna go grab it. And the book in question is Hollow by the Twisted Sisters. And I'm just excited this second time as I was the first time we picked out, and I feel so bad that I didn't read it because I am so excited for this. Out of all the books that have been released this year, I would say this was my second highly anticipated read of the entire year. First being Alchemized, this one being second, and I am so excited to read this and go on a journey with the Twisted Sisters in a completely new world. Another thing is that this was picked for our next in-person book club, so I will be doing a reading vlog for this and reading this with you guys before we set up and host the next book club, and that is going to be in probably the end of January now. So if we read this in December, it'll still be nice and fresh in our mind when we host book club. So for the second time, we are adding Hollow to our TBR, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I read it this time. Okay guys, that is our books, and the pile is looking a little bit sad because there's 2 books on here that I do not have physical copies for. However, if I enjoyed them, I absolutely will be buying physical copies for. Based on what we've picked, I think December is going to be a very interesting reading month, and I have some very highly anticipated reads in this pile, and I'm super excited to get to all of these. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing to my channel, and of course I will see you guys very soon in our next installment for Bookmas.